Well, hello there, running ears. It's Manny again, and I'm going to apologize. I'm going to be a little bit sporadic. I got a new job, so I'm all over the place. But a lot of you guys are subscribing, asking questions. So I thought this would be a great idea to do this from now on. I'm going to do videos on suggestions, questions that are being asked. So before I say that, please subscribe. We're getting more and more subscribers every day. This is going to allow me to go live at runs also, so I appreciate that. But again, this is your channel, so if you guys want to see live feeds from any Run Disney events, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Again, keep asking questions. Like you're going to see today, I'm going to give shout outs to you guys because you guys are the ones. This is your channel. I want you guys to think of yourself, think of this as your channel. So without further ado, let's get going. So the question is from one of your subscribers. Thank you very much for being a subscriber, and thank you guys for being here. Is Leanne asked, what is my favorite hotel? Where do I like to stay at? So I thought this would be a great way of talking about the resorts, the pros and cons of staying on site, and then what happens if you stay off site. So I'll start off with off-site. So I've only stayed off-site once, and that was for my very first Run Disney event, at Florida, I should say. And it was not bad. I had to call the resort. I rented a car. I stayed on there. It was the Disney Springs area resorts, and they actually had a shuttle. I had to pay ahead of time. They had a shuttle, so I paid a few dollars. They would take us to the expo. They brought us back. They took us to the start of the run. They brought us back. They told us where to meet. I don't 100% know if they still do that. I'm assuming they do. If they don't, there's always Uber. I had friends of mine that have done Uber. Their experiences have been mixed. I don't think it's the fault of the Uber drivers. I think it's the fault of the fact that things were packed up, so they were trying to get to the front and the front of the run to drop them off, and it was just a lot of people going there. So that was about it. So there was a little bit of complications, but then I've heard other people say, man, they just went, they dropped me off, and I was able to get going to the start right away. So it's one of those crapshoots, but it's worth taking a chance, especially if you like staying off property or you think that it's just more of a value to you. So you can stay off property. Now, staying on property, it's to me the best. And I've stayed on everything but the extreme resorts, the ones that are the most expensive resorts. So I haven't stayed at the Contemporary, I haven't stayed at the Polynesian, I haven't stayed at any of those for the runs. I've stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge for when I just went for fun, but I have not stayed there for the runs. There is great news. Every single one of those resorts, and this is worth hearing over and over and over. If you have friends of yours who are on the fence, what happens if you're staying on a resort? They will have shuttles to and from the expo and to and from the start and finish of the races. You will always have that shuttle, and so don't ever. I've seen people post saying, "Oh, you may not get it, you may not do it." The only way that you won't do it is if you're late. So, like in the morning, they say, they start off from 2:30 to 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever it is. Just be there on time. If you get there a little bit later, I'm going to say they're going to have a cushion. I've never done this before, but I'm sure they have a cushion of 15, 20 minutes to make sure they get the runners there. But guys, don't test them. If you test them too much, you get there at 4:45 for a 5 o'clock start, there's a chance they're not going to get you there. So you are going to have to take an Uber, and you may not be able to start. So guys, be smart. Stay within their guidelines. If you're off by a few minutes, that's okay. But every single on-site resort, including the Dolphin and the Swan. I was about to say the Dwan, and so I'm combining them there. Even Shades of Green, they all have resort transportation to and from every Run Disney event, including the expo. So where have I stayed and which ones are my favorite? I've stayed mainly at the value resorts, but I'm never in my room. I hardly ever go there. The value resorts to me are comfortable enough for me. I've been there with by myself. I've been there with other runners. I've been there with people that are there to spectate. And we've always had a pretty good experience staying there. We've always just, you know, it's very easy to just go to the lobby area. You got to find out where they're going to pick you up, where they're going to drop you off, so that way you know exactly where to go every day that you're going to go there. But besides that, I've had very, very good luck. I've stayed at the All-Star Resorts, all 3 of them. I've stayed at Pop Century. I've stayed at Art of Animation, and I've never had any problems. Of those, my favorites are All-Star Sports and Pop Century. The reason I don't add Art of Animation is because for some reason or another, the 2 times I've stayed there, they put me on the 4th floor in the ones that are way in the back. I think it's the Ariel ones, the Little Mermaid rooms, and so I have to go all the way to the back and climb all the stairs, and sometimes people are in the what's it called, in the elevator, so I've had to climb all the stairs. So that's the reason I kind of avoid it, and I think to me Pop Century is exactly the same thing, and usually at a cheaper price. So but to each his own. That's been my experience. So moderate hotels. I've stayed at Caribbean, I've stayed at Coronado, and I've stayed at the Port Orleans resorts. Of those, I've never really had a problem. I don't like the pickup at Coronado Springs, so I had the option of staying at Coronado Springs for this past run, and I did not stay there. I decided to stay at Port Orleans Riverside. I had stayed at French Quarter. I'd never stayed at Riverside, and I'm going to stop there and say this was the best experience I ever had. The people there were all into it. I've showed pictures last time where the staff was just fantastic. They were all into running the Run Disney event. So as soon as we would get off, they would be congratulations. They had stuff that we could take pictures with. It just seemed a lot more. They seemed a lot more excited than anywhere else I've ever stayed. Now, it doesn't mean that other places I go there, and when you have your medals and you have your bib and everything, they tell you congratulations, great job, so forth and so on. But I had the best experience at Port Orleans Riverside. I'm kind of spoiled now. Although in the upcoming run, I will be staying at the Princess. I'm going to be staying at Pop Century. And then after that, actually, All-Star Sports. So I'm expecting good things to happen. But I am going to start looking at Port Orleans Riverside whenever I can. So guys, I've never stayed at the luxury ones, the more expensive ones for the runs. But I've never heard of any problems. I don't see any problems happening. Guys, you know, a couple of tidbits that I give you is, number one is, this is something that maybe could help you out. Whenever you are doing a Run Disney event, you can go to the lobby and you can tell them, hey, I'm signed up. Show them, if you want to, that you are signed up. You know, after you pick up your bib, show them that. And ask for a room that is either on the 1st floor or closer to the transportation so you can get there. They usually will try to accommodate you if they have openings. And that has happened to me before a couple of times, where, except for Art of Animation. But in the All-Star Sports Resorts, I guess that's why I like it. I've gone there. When I check in, I say I'm doing my Run Disney events. They right away say, okay, we got availability in the 1st floor right around the corner. Sold. Take it. I'll take it. And they do that. So it doesn't hurt to ask, okay, guys? So also, the other thing I'm going to say is find out where the transportation is. It's usually around the lobby area, but find out exactly where it is. So in the morning, you don't want to be going one way and it's in the other way. Even if you get lost, it's not far away, but it's best to know, because especially when you're doing a marathon, those steps count. So if you get lost for a good quarter mile or something like that, that's a quarter mile that you could have saved, you know, your energy during the run. So with that, that's it. I'm going to do a video next week. I will have a little bit of a break, and then I'm going to try to keep one a week. I'm gonna continue trying to answer your questions. So thank you, Leanne. You are awesome. You're a running-ear. You were so glad you're here. And just like her, please ask questions, because I will answer your questions like this. And so with that said, I'll be doing videos shortly, and I do have some updates on Disneyland, which I want to go into pretty soon. But hint, hint, do I think Disneyland is coming back? Well, you got to stay tuned for that. Anyways, with that said, I want you guys to create a magical day, and we'll see you sooner than later.